All right, the most important thing is I'm recording. I haven't screwed that up yet. I haven't had to call anybody back and say, can we do it again? Just for our records, can you please tell me your name, spell them, and give me your title?
Gail Krumenauer, G-A-I-L-K-R-U-M-E-N-A-E-R, and I am the interim communications.
Gotcha. Your audio cutting out there for a second. I wonder if it's background noise. We'll see how this goes. I might have to do something different. Where do we stand on this? Was it backlog of 50,000? Is it still 50,000?
Regular unemployment claims, yes, we have tens of thousands that still need to be processed, even though we have processed 9 out of 10 claims for insurance benefits that have come through between March 15th. With the truly unprecedented number of claims that have come in, we have seen that still leaves tens of thousands of people who need to have their claims processed.
Gotcha. I'm wondering if I'm picking up. I'm gonna, after I ask you my question, I'm gonna hit mute, see if that helps out at all. So you went a little quiet there. You said not how many? 9 out of 10, and of the 50,000, how many are left?
So what I was saying is that 9 out of 10 initial claims for regular unemployment insurance benefits in Oregon that were received between March 15th and May 9th have been processed. Even so, we have seen more than 400,000 initial claims come through. So even with 9 out of 10 being processed, that still leaves tens of thousands that need to be processed. And that's the case in Oregon and in every state in the nation as well.
I interviewed a widow, mother of 5 today, and she filed her thing back in March. She hasn't heard anything from you folks. She has $1.77 in her bank account. Do you know what? Do you have any advice for her? She spent 26 hours on hold trying to get through to people. Do you have any advice?
What I can say is that we absolutely understand how much people need to get their unemployment benefits right now, especially when they've gone weeks without them. And that is why we are prioritizing not just getting claims processed, but getting to those older claims that are hanging out there. We're working on pulling claims by the date they were processed, the ones that are hung up, and having our experienced staff get through those and get those claims processed. And in addition, we are also initiating thousands of calls to people whose claims are unprocessed. And we are calling to them to get the information that we can get to help get those claims processed. Now, those numbers, when we're calling, they don't show up as Oregon Employment Department. And so it'll come up as a number that doesn't look recognizable. And some people don't answer those calls because they think that they're spam. I mean, especially as we've been in the run up to an election. So we are not only just having people call us, we are actively working to get people who need to have their benefits, get those processed, get those paid. And even with the extra work that we're committing to that, sometimes, I mean, the ones that are left hanging out there are the trickiest ones. They're ones where maybe somebody lived in another state and we don't have enough of their employment information, their earnings history to pay that claim. And we are required by law to verify someone's earnings because that's what's used to calculate their benefit amount before we are allowed to pay a claim. And so if we have to reach out to that other state, for example, to get that information, that other state also has a record crushing number of claims too. It might not be getting back to us as fast as they can. And that is not on the claimant, that's not on the person who needs the benefits, but that's a type of situation where things get hung up longer than they're supposed to right now.
So the woman I interviewed and other people I've talked to are saying, why don't you folks have a 24/7 Sunday night, Saturday morning, Tuesday at midnight? Why isn't there a call center 24/7?
If we could process claims 24/7, I believe that we would. The truth is that we have a system that is a mainframe system, and it is a legacy system that's a few decades old. And in order to actually do the work of processing the claims, that system has to be offline and unavailable to us for several hours each day. And those are the hours that we're not processing those claims, because even if someone called at that time, we wouldn't be able to access the system to process anything for them. So we are processing claims 17 hours a day. We are processing claims 7 days a week.
Do you know what the average hold time on the phone is now?
It's gone up in the past couple of days. We had a situation where the phones would accidentally hang up on people while they were on hold. And so over the weekend, so last week we opened a contact center. So we have added more than 600 more employees dedicated to processing claims right now. We went from 106 and now we're at almost 700. And so in addition to adding that staff, we've also added a new contact center. And to do that, we've installed more phone lines as we've done that. We've also expanded our phone capacity. So the call times just to the contact centers, the 2 contact centers we had before the last one opened, have gone up dramatically in the last couple of days, because as we've added more phone lines, more people can get into a phone queue. And then it's not accidentally hanging up on them, so they can be on hold longer. And we know that being on hold longer is not ideal. Actually, having somebody process your claim is ideal. And that's why we're doing those steps of initiating those calls, where we're making outbound calls to people who need to get their claims processed. And we're working on those claims that are the older claims and calling people back to try to get that information processed and get those claims paid.
Is that hang up glitch fixed?
Yes, it should be improved now. And that's why you see that those calls that are getting through are able to wait longer.
Okay. I hadn't seen that reported. Is that a new piece of information, that glitch?
So the phones, we actually talked about it every single day at 2 p.m. or every weekday at 2 p.m. We are taking the most common questions that we're getting. We know that the best thing to do is to be able to talk to somebody who can process your individual claim. And we realize that while there are more than 400,000 people that have filed initial claims, and there are about 700 of us who are able to process them, anything we can do in the meantime to explain big common themes of what are going on, things that are common questions, is something that we have committed to doing, and we're doing on social media. And we've talked about it there. We've talked about what's happened with our phones and what's happening with those phone wait times, and what's happening with getting more lines in, and we're planning to add more lines. But still, just the scope and the magnitude. We went from having a near record low unemployment rate of 3.5% to having a record high unemployment rate of 14.2% in April. We lost 250,000 jobs, either temporarily or permanently, in a month's time. And by comparison, during the Great Recession, over the course of more than a year, we netted a loss of 150,000. So we packed more than a Great Recession into 1 month's time. And that is putting a strain on everyone.
Guy I talked to said, well, why can't you update your website to reveal the status of the claim?
You mean the status of someone in the online claim system?
Yeah, because he's like, why can't I just go on there? I can see that they've even acknowledged me, that yes, it's being processed. I think it's show me some sort of indicator. Yes, they know I'm out here.
When you go into the online claim system, so you'll receive an initial confirmation after your claim benefits is received. Once we've received it, you get a confirmation then saying that we've received it. And then once that initial claim is processed, there is a status that you can go check the status of that claim and see. Now the interim period is on average, of course, an average is an average of more than 400,000 individual situations, right? Is about 3 to 4 weeks from initial claim to first payment.
When this all started, I remember Governor Brown saying that Oregon had like the second highest kitty, like $5 billion. Do you have any idea how much that $5 billion is left?
Our trust fund is still in solid condition. Many of the additional, like the extra $600 in unemployment benefits, those are federally funded. So Oregon is one of the most solvent trust funds in the nation. And in addition, a lot of the extra payments that are going out right now are federally funded as well. And so we do not see any imminent threats to our unemployment insurance trust fund running out of money at this point.
Do you know how much of the $5 billion is left?
I do not know exactly how much of the $5 billion is left. I know that we're forecasting right now that we are going to continue to be able to pay benefits to everyone that needs them.
I'm almost done here. I'm reading from a prior script Friday. Governor Kay Brown says she would waive the state's waiting week policy. You said the policy is still in place. Is that still the case?
Waiving the waiting week is a priority for the Oregon Employment Department. It has been and it is, and it will continue to be a priority. One of the things that we've had to do is prioritize the programming that we need to do. And we've done that with the goal in mind of getting the greatest amount of benefits to the largest number of people who need them the fastest. And so what that has meant so far is that we've prioritized doing the CARES Act. So getting the extra $600 to people who are on unemployment benefits, and then getting the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program up and running, because that brings in the self-employed, contract, gig, and other workers who've never been eligible for unemployment benefits before. It brings them into our system. We can so the waiting week is something that, while it is a priority for us, it requires about 4,000 hours of programming time. And it so foundationally underlies the processing of the claims that if we went in there and started doing that, we would be taking away from our ability to, at the same time, get the CARES Act implemented and get more benefits out the door or get more people into our system. And it would also, because it's so foundational, create the real risk of not only disrupting, but perhaps stopping record numbers of claims being processed and getting money out the door to people who need it right now. And so while it is a priority for us, we've had to do a lot of difficult prioritization, and we've chosen so far to get the CARES Act implemented, each of its pieces, so that we can get more benefits out the door to people who need them right now.
When you say programming, you mean computer programming?
Yes, I mean the actual IT programming, yes.
Wow, okay. On an old computer.
Yes.
All right. Lindsay said that there might be 2 press releases today. I know I saw the one. Is there a second one coming out? Are you able to tell me what it's about?
We'll have another one coming up this week. We are working on launching the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program. So that should be up and coming soon. Expect to have more information about that later this week. The Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program is another provision of the CARES Act. And what that does is provides up to 13 weeks of extended benefits for those who have run out of their unemployment benefits and remain out of work due to COVID-19 closures. So we should have that seems as we roll it out.
Okay, that seems similar to what 2008, when unemployment kept getting extended.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did have extended benefits during the Great Recession as well, okay. Specific to the CARES Act.
Well, are we missing anything? I don't know what I don't know. So
I think that really just talking about what we're doing to prioritize those claims, and that we really are being proactive. It's not just a matter of call us and wait for those hours. We are also trying to call you, and we are also prioritizing those claims that are hanging out there, knowing that people are struggling and knowing that people need that money. I think that's the core of it right now, and just really putting the context and the scope and the scale around knowing that we've never seen unemployment this high. We went from an almost record low to a record high in a month. And the abruptness and the scale of that is really the underlying foundation of this difficulty that everyone is experiencing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you. And
have you too. Yeah, good luck.
Thanks.